Welcome. Today, we'll speak again to the only apparent problem that there is, and that is accepting the truth. Now, this might not be the first time that you've had this conversation today. We've had many sessions speaking to this, and you might even think this is repetitive. But I join with you and I stand with you today. If you have the ears to hear what is required to know your heart, life, being, experience completely fulfilled without opposites, in the permanency of a peace that bears no resemblance to the world of persons whatsoever, to a happiness, a joy, perhaps even bliss, that has no conditions whatsoever, accepting the truth of what it is that I really am, is the only hurdle, the final hurdle, the cause of the appearance of anything other than what really is. Let's start at the beginning. What I think I am is what I am experiencing at every step of what I call life, in every moment of what I call life. What I think I am is the simultaneous, matching, corresponding experience. It is the pre-programmed show that is appearing on the screen of life. The core and the cause is what I believe myself to be. Awareness of being is another way to say this. The appearance of anything is a state of ignorance, if it is at all out of peace. If there is a sense of an inside and an outside, that is a state of ignorance of what it is that I am. It's not a problem. We've never had any problems. Just like a maths equation is never a problem once you know the maths. Once you know the principle of maths, you can never have a problem. Once you know the principle of life, you can never have a problem. The principle of life resides in the recognition of what I is. Now, that's not incorrect English. What I is the principle of life. What I believe myself to be is the very principle of life, matching the experience that I think I'm having. And so it is not our business to be interfering in the appearance of anything, to be commentating, narrating, investigating the appearance of anything. If you can hear this, you're recognizing where your attention needs to be, where awareness needs to be. And that is what I am, which is why that perennial question, what am I, leads precisely to the pot of gold, shall we say, to the holy grail, to supreme reality, to the self or self-revelation, self-realization. What it is that I am is the experience that I am having. If I don't like it, it's simply to recognize I'm mistaken in perception. Perception comes from identification. The entire perception of life is built on what I think I am. And it is perpetually, persistently off, which we call problems, when I am believing myself to be something that I am not. And so the answer remains as it always has, as the way showers of spiritual enlightenment, illumination, and demonstration, living as a living demonstration of the truth in the great works as Jesus the Christ did, rests on accepting the truth of what it is that I am. And that I have, that you have, that we all have, happens to be not what you think it is, because thought and belief and assumption and concepts and labels are nothing to the truth. For as long as we play that game, that lesser game that is of awareness, the phenomena that appear and arise in awareness rather than at the causal level, at the root cause, which is identification, we're always off. There's no fix. There's no fix to the destination called death in an illusion of being something that I'm not. Therefore, the way home, the way of the prodigal to the perfect peace that is reality, and reality is not multiplistic. Reality is singular. There is only one reality, or there's misperception. There's only one reality, or there is nothing really happening beyond imagination. Accepting the truth of what it is that I am, living in the truth of being one, comes with the corresponding and matching experience that is perfection. One is whole, one is complete, one is perfect, pristine, one is infinite and eternal, one is timeless, changeless, and immortal. One is the imperturbable truth, the indissolvable, indissoluble, indivisible truth. Rock solid, concrete truth. Not flimsy belief, not flimsy assumption, not the facts as we call them that just are simply the appearance of things we've fallen for, but the rock solid, unwavering truth that I am one in life. Supplied, sustained, and maintained in the grace and glory of God, wanting for nothing, wanting for nothing. Accepting the truth of what it is that I am is the only door that needs to be opened in the right direction, closed in the wrong direction, to know the truth, to walk the way of self-revelation and self-realization. Self-revelation, self-realization, self-discovery is not the discovery of another. It's not a person discovering I have another side. This is authentic self-revelation, which means I am one self and there is no other. And so our business is accepting the truth, living the truth, breathing the truth, moving seemingly in the truth, as I am in one. Resting the game of fight and conflict and struggle and suffering and confusion and chaos and misappropriated effort is done. I am simply the beholder in awe of the grace that is God, of the life that is God, of the marvel and wonder and miracle that is God, that is the self that I am. This is how we expand in the finished kingdom. The finished kingdom isn't in a future destination. It isn't at the end of a spiritual journey that a person makes. In fact, most never come to truthful realization, believing that they are a student and there is effort to be made. The acceptance of what it is that I am remains the obstacle few ever overcome. Can we grasp this today? Accept what it is that I am, because it is what I am, and I've never been anything else. Allow the light of truth to simply consume what looks like the stories of a person, the past of a person, the past of a world that never was, of humanity, of a future that will never be. Perfection is the only one truth, and it is now. It is not in the resolution of any personal or global issue. It is now. Omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence is the only reality now. I'm available to this now. Imagine life lived in perfection. Life lived knowing that the answer, the supreme final resolution is now. Supreme reality, the supreme mind that is omniscience, that is intelligence, that is infallible, is now. What seems to veil that is the belief that we have something to overcome. A Course in Miracles was so gorgeous in the way that it reminded us that your problem is you never question the reality of the problem. And even on the spiritual path, most spiritual students and aspirants, sincere, mature, earnest aspirants, persist under the guise, under the spell of there being a problem. If we could just today, just for a minute even, to let the light shine through, rest in the idea there's no problem. The problem of misidentification has already been solved. Let me recognize it's been solved. Let me rest in the acceptance that truth is an already a now thing. Mine is to accept. And until we accept, we are walking in a dream, not awake. Acceptance of truth is waking, is awake. It is accepting what it is that I really am that leads into the light as the light, where I am under no laws but the truth of life itself. As the principle of life itself, I am the way, the truth, the light, the life. I am. Your I is. No one else is. No one else has the truth. No one is the keeper of truth. The I of your own life, being, essence, right here and right now is one in God, is your resting place, is where your sacred communion in oneness as one, empty, receptive, listening, tuned in, exists. It's not next week when you've done more prayer and meditation. It's not next year when you graduate school. It's not in 25 years when you've paid off your mortgage. None of that is true. None of that is real. Only the truth is true. I am already the infinite, the all, the eternal, in one and as one. I am. Right now, wherever you think you are, the supreme answer that is the end of all questions is I. And that I is equally I as it was for Jesus the Christ and every illumined, enlightened master there has been. It is I. There's no palaver. There's no hierarchy to get to I. It's simply letting be everything you've picked up and attached to that I, which isn't, and accepting that the truth is here. I am found. I already is. You can agree with that. I is. I popped a little post in our Oneness Monastery community group today, and not long afterwards received an email. And the question that I posed was, what is the permanent common denominator, not looking at the experiences themselves, but just a little bit deeper than what you call your life? What is that common denominator? What is the one thing that has been right where you think you are all along? And this email was an email of tears of gratitude. Can you see? Can you recognize that what has been constant is I, regardless of all the additional detail, shall we say? Can you see that? What is that I? What is that sense of meanness? That very real presence that happens to be unrelated to what you think you are, but is in fact the light of the world. Take away all concepts, take away all labels, take away all assumptions and beliefs, including that I am a material, independently existing physical bag of bones. That's not even true. Remain open to this I revealing itself. And beloved, you have made the discovery of life. And this is where the riches that have no comparison of the kingdom of heaven are waiting in the present moment, not on a linear, imagined time scale, not in a place somewhere, in a location somewhere, but right here where I am, eternally where I am, which is why wherever I am, God is. Accepting the truth of what it is that I am is the only way. accepting at one-ment. We often say atonement. Accepting at oneness, accepting oneness, accepting one. There is only one. It is just having accepted erroneous details that veil this, that keep you searching. What if you do a Buddha? What that means is pause, sit down under a tree, and be still, and listen, and recognize where what you seek is to be found. Your wholeness is already established. Your completeness, your perfection, your fully fleshed out heaven is already right where I is. So why don't we just take a couple of minutes and then we'll open this up for Q&A.